Hello everybody. This is just a short story about Rikers Island, as always. It's about the time I, I psyched out of a 90-90. 90-90 is 90 days in the box, 90 days loss of good time. I was in C76, CIFM at the time. It was 1997, around spring of 1997, end of spring 1997. I just got into that building. I was housed in the cell houses at first, so they could classify me the right way, because I had a high classification. And for those of you who know that you've been there, like, you know what a high classification is. It's when you've gotten in trouble, or due to your charges, they boost your classification up because they need to have you in a more secure place, or like you got into a fight, you committed some type of violent act, or you got caught with drugs, whatever the case may be, or you tried to escape. That's what boosts your classification up. Anyway, I'm in 3 Main. I'm waiting to get to the house that I'm going to be in next. 3 Main is a cell house in C76. Alright? And from the cell houses, they transferred me to 4 Main, which actually was an old house that I was in back in 94, 95. And I remembered it. It was my old high classification dorm. Alright. And I had what they call a banger. A banger is a piece of metal about this long. Well, this is what this banger was. It was a piece of metal about that long. It was a bolt about this thick. You know, maybe like the circumference a little bit thinner than a circle of a dime, about that thick. And it was filed down into a point, and there was 2 rectangle pieces of metal that were welded onto it. The person who gave it to me, I don't know where the fuck he got it from. He broke it off some part of the jail. Anyway, there was 2 pieces of rectangle metal. You could hold it kind of like that, and it would come out your fingers this way. So it was about that much metal coming out with a nice point about this thick. Huh? Anyway, all in all, it's about that long. Right? I put it in my shoe. Right? This is when you could still have your shoes in Rikers Island. Like, they didn't take your shoes. They took your shoes, they searched them, they gave them back to you. They ran them through a magnometer. Right? For those of you who don't know what a magnometer is, it's like a thing that you pass through, to see if there's metal in whatever, your body, whatever it is. And so I put in my shoe on the pack up. So we go. 4 Main is right next to 3 Main. So it was literally, we just walked out of one house and like walked maybe 50 feet into the next house. And 4 Main has got a reputation for all high class inmates, violent inmates, so on and so forth. And basically, I was in like the last set of people that were going into that house. There was about 7 people going into that house. And for once, it bugged me out. They never used to do this. Back when I was there in 94, 95, they didn't search our shoes or anything like that. They just kind of like patted us down and whisked us in real quick. Well, this time the guy patted us down, and he told all of us to take our shoes off. And I didn't take my shoes off. I couldn't. I was like, fuck. He came over to me, and he looked at me, and it was bulging. The shit was bulging. I couldn't hide it. He said, yo, what do you got in there? He said, yo, hold on a second. Take your shoes off, man. He shoved me against the wall, big CO. Pulled it out. He said, yo, who's this for? And everybody in the dorm saw like this big piece of metal that I had on me, and they were all wondering who it was for. Kind of like, yo, what's up with this white boy, It's kind of crazy, whatever. I was transporting a piece of metal for somebody, we made a deal for something, whatever. And I got caught. And as soon as I got caught, I was like, oh shit, what the fuck am I going to do, man? I don't even know what to do. So I'm sitting down on my bunk. I'm like talking to a couple of people that I got moved in there with. And, I said, yo, so what do you think I should do, man? He said, yo, the only way you're going to get out of this is if you psych out. I said, psych out? What do you mean psych out? He yo, you gotta play MO. MO. What do you mean, like I'm crazy? See, yeah, I got no problems with that, because, yo, I got a history of being crazy. You know, like, since I was a kid, I've been, like, fucked up in the head, man. So, you know, I kind of came to grips as I became into adulthood, but, you know, I understand what it's like to be nuts. Anyway, so I said, all right, I gotta act like I'm committing suicide. All right, good, I could do that. So I go, I get to my bunk, and I rip strips of sheet. Right? And I rip a whole bunch of strips of sheet. I take 2 strips, I twist it up into like a rope, and I start going like this on my neck, back and forth. And then I go to the other way, like that. And I do it so I have like a ring, a red ring around my neck. Real nice and bright red ring. I rug burned it into my neck. Huh? So I go, I grab a chair from the day room, I pull it to the bathroom. And in the 6th building, it's like an old style jail. The bathrooms are kind of like in a triangle shape, and there's a bunch of stalls there, and there's plenty of places you can hang that shit up. So I hung the shit up right before the stalls. There was like some pipes that were going towards where the sink area was. And I went and I stood on the chair and I tied this shit up. I put it around my neck. And the dude that I was doing this shit with, I told him, yo, go get the CO right now. Go call him. Tell him I'm hanging up. Go running over there and yell that shit. Yo, help, yo, he's hanging up, blah, blah. So he did that. As soon as I hear the CO jump up and I hear the keys ringing, as he's running, I kick the chair out. And I'm hanging. I'm going like this. And he comes running in the bathroom and cuts me down. And I fall onto the floor. As soon as that happens, they call for infirmary. They come with a stretcher. They take me out of there because I act like I got knocked out. Alright, this all happens before they give you a ticket, right? It's called an infraction. And before I got the infraction, and when they were going to give me that infraction, there's usually a captain that hands you a red ID card because you got caught with a weapon. Red ID cards are for people who got caught with weapons, used the weapon, made somebody bleed in some way or another. You know what I mean? And anyway, before that captain came, I did all of this, like in the space of like 10 minutes of me being there. After I got caught with it. Woo! Got right out of 4 Main. I was in 10 Main, down on the other side of the building, the MO house. Right? Now the MO house is different. Everything's like little short walls. There's no bars, nothing hanging up. Everything's covered. You can't like hang nothing. You can't hang off of nothing. Whatever. They take your shoelaces. They try to take everything from you so that you can't do nothing to yourself, right? But still, there's still people there with sheets. You can always do something with a sheet. Sheets in jail are like a common tool for a prisoner. I say a prisoner because inmate, whatever. Inmate, prisoner, it's like a common tool. A sheet you can make into many different things. You can make fishing lines, you can make nooses, you can make ropes to tie things up. You can do a lot of stuff with sheets. Trust me, you can break it down and even use the threads to sew things up. Anyway, I get to the MO house. I get to my bunk there, and see there, I couldn't find nothing. Like as I said before, there's nothing to hang from. So there's a way to hang yourself in your own bed. And so I went and I did that. As soon as I got there, I found somebody with sheets. Started using my tools. Sheets of tools. And I make a noose out of strips of sheet, like maybe 1 inch thick strips of sheet, however long a sheet is, whatever, 72 inches, something like that, whatever, however long a sheet is for a twin size bed, the long way. And so I make a noose, but a noose that you lay down in bed is different. It's like a twist up, like I had to make it real thick, and you twist it up, and what it is it twists onto your neck, and you just lay back. and you lay on your hands. And what it does is it cuts off your circulation, and you pass out basically with your hands underneath you. And when you pass out with your hands underneath you, there's no way you're going to move after that. So it winds up killing you as if you were hanging. Alright, anyway, that was not my objective. My objective was to get the CO over there to show him that that's what I was doing. So, made the noose real thick, boom, put it up, nice and tight. Actually, before I did it, I did the rope burn again a little bit more, nice and, got it nice and red, cherry red. I found somebody that was there, explained to him what I was doing. I said, look, I need your help. As soon as I tell you, go run over to the seal. It wasn't more than 10 minutes that I was there in that place, in that dorm, 10 Main. And I said, go now, hurry up. Like that. And also when you tighten the sheet, it's supposed to be wet. Because when you tighten a wet sheet, it's hard to untie. Like it tightens and stays tight. Wet, so it was wet. And basically, I heard him go run over. There's like a thing that you pull it, where you pull it tight. And you twist it. As soon as I heard him, yo, he's hanging up in the bed, and I heard and the CO running with his keys. Because, they got all the COs who work in the bubble. They call it the bubble, the little station area where they work, behind bars and shit. So there's one inside there, and there's usually one inside the floor. Not so much in the MO house. They didn't like being on the floor in there because, it's kind of fucking crazy in there. Anyway, so I tighten it up real quick. I pull it tight, and I twist it up, and I just go like this. And they came, and they cut it off my neck. They got another stretcher. They brought me in the stretcher down to the receiving room. Bam! I was on the next thing, smoking out of that building, going into C95, which is right next door to CIFM. It's Anna M. Cross. That's at C95, and inside C95 is C71. It's another building that's connected to it on the inside, which is the MO ward. Like every house in there is all mental observation units. Alright, so I go and boom, I land in there and I get into there. As soon as I'm going from the receiving room in C70, oh, I forgot to tell you. While I was doing this and I got hung up and they came and cut me off and they came with the stretcher, the captain came with my ticket and a red ID and my card, my floor card. There's a floor card for everybody that gets put into a thing behind the CO who's in the bubble. My floor card was red. So by the time I made it to the receiving room and was going out the building, my card changed from red back to yellow. And so my ID card, whatever, I never even got it. And by the time I got into C71 and they admitted me, everything was back to normal. I didn't have no red ID, no red floor card, and I never saw the ticket for the banger. So, I mean, not that I'm trying to promote what to run around with weapons in jail, because by all means, stay out of jail. Don't commit crime. It's not worth it. You wouldn't have to do crazy things like this. But desperate times calls for desperate measures. And that's some of the things this is one of the things that I had to do to survive while I was in jail, so I wasn't stuck in a fucking hole for 90 days. And lost 90 days of my good time. Even though I was doing a skid bid for that, and I wound up doing a state bid later on that year. Like I would have spent like 90 days of that shit in a cell by myself. You know what I mean? Like not knowing who the fuck is next to me or around me or whatever for the first month I was there. But anyway, moral of the story is, you do what you got to do when it comes down to it. And that's another one of my crazy Rikers Island stories. And just remember, you won't have a crazy Rikers Island story if you don't commit a crime. Alright? So, do me a favor. Subscribe. Smash the like button. Oh, visit my man RD357's channel. He's got some crazy stories of his own. I'm about to interview him for a Rikers Island story also. And if you want to be interviewed for some Rikers Island stories, please contact me. D3TV, man. Come see me. All right.